Hello and welcome to the first Heart and Soul show of 2019. We hope you have all recovered from the festive season. Coming up in this month's show, we have a new feature, Sue's Review, where Sue reviews a book, film or other artistic event. Also, we have a crime adventure written by Brian and the usual poetry, music and interviews. Firstly, we start with Booker T and the MG's Green Onions.
It's time for Sue's Review.
This is a review of an autobiography by Michelle Obama called Becoming, published by Viking Books. Michelle Obama is most famous for being the wife of Barack Obama, first black president of the United States of America. Less well known is that she is a graduate of Princeton and Harvard universities and a successful corporate lawyer. All of this achieved before she ever set eyes on her future husband. In short, she has become a very successful black woman in a very white, male-dominated field in the USA. Michelle Robinson was raised in a rented second-floor apartment on Chicago's poor South Side. It was not a financially privileged upbringing, but Michelle and her older brother Craig were raised to be confident, outspoken, and unafraid. They thrived on every possible educational, sporting, and cultural activity made available to them through their parents' hard work and sacrifice. At university, Michelle quickly became accustomed to being the only black woman in the room and had to work doubly hard to achieve success in the corporate world of law. It was into her executive office that Mr. Barack Obama walked as a young intern, an exceptionally intelligent man who she describes as kind, passionate, and intensely driven. He was nevertheless scruffy and late. Despite her initial lack of attraction, their friendship grew and quickly blossomed into love, though this was soon to become a long-distance affair on his return to the East Coast to complete his law training. They would then survive the next year on phone calls and the occasional weekend together, little realising how this would prepare them for the campaigning years before their future ascent to the White House. Once Barack had passed his law exams, he moved back to Chicago. They married, and he started to work for the same law firm as his wife. Michelle describes Barack as caring more than anyone she knows about social injustice, and it wasn't long before he was heavily involved in politics, first more local to the city and state of Illinois, and soon on a national level. This autobiography is subdivided into 3 sections. The first, Becoming Me, deals with Michelle's childhood and life before meeting Barack. The second section is Becoming Us. This takes us through the early years of their marriage, the birth of their 2 daughters, Malia and Sasha, and the years of campaigning that led to Barack Obama's inauguration in January 2009. The final section is called Becoming More, and focuses on her life as a mother, raising her daughters as normally as possible in the White House, as the First Lady, consort to the President of the United States of America, and as herself, finding a focus for her own voice and work whilst in this role. This is a beautifully written and emotionally authentic memoir. Michelle comes across as an exceptional woman, but also a very normal lady who has struggled with the pressures of life under the constant scrutiny of the world's media. She talks movingly of her struggle to lend her husband to the greater job of serving their country for a time, of the decline and death of her beloved father just days before hearing Barack had become president, and of her ferocity in protecting her daughters from the constant glare of publicity. We hear about 2 of her rally cries, made famous during the campaign tours, when she encouraged supporters to rise above the slights and destructive attacks by the opposition with, "Am I good enough? Yes, I am," and "When they go low, we go high." This book is eminently readable and easy to pick up, though I devoured it within just a few days and then regretted that I'd finished it far too quickly. Since reading it, I've come across a number of reviews, and I'm struck by the different angles such reviews are written from, and how many different examples are quoted from the book. It's evidence of the richness of Michelle's life story, and indeed of the wealth of little stories and anecdotes she so skillfully passes on. One of the strongest images left in me was when she thanked the very many strong people through her life who have formed her choir. She says, "The important parts of my story I was realising lay in the many small ways I'd been buttressed over the years, and the people who'd helped build my confidence over time. I remembered them all, every person who'd ever waved me forward, doing his or her best to inoculate me against the indignities I was certain to encounter in the places I was headed. All those environments built primarily for and by people who were neither black nor female." She then goes on to list specific teachers, her parents, family, and various friends and professional colleagues who have touched her life, supported her, and given her opportunities that have shaped her and helped her grow and develop. She says, "These were the people who mostly didn't know one another, many of whom I've fallen out of touch with, but for me they formed a meaningful constellation. They were my boosters, my believers, my own personal gospel choir singing, 'Yes, kid, you got this,' all the way through." She has used this motivation as a platform from which to introduce her own mentoring association, working with the underprivileged, especially young girls, both in the States and the UK. I love the choir metaphor and feel reminded to be thankful for my own backing group over the years and how I can be part of the choir for many other people in my life now. In summary, this book is an easy-to-digest memoir from a real role model of our times. It is packed with detail and emotion, and if you, like me, can remember the Obama years, it's a fascinating insight into the life of this pioneering First Lady's story, as it opened up in front of us just a decade ago. I have great pleasure in recommending this as a really good read. Becoming by Michelle Obama is published by Viking. It's on sale in most good bookshops, is available as an audio version too, and both of these can be accessed through your local library. Happy reading.
Ipsum care, while you listen to this, your ears can't look elsewhere.
Now on the Art and Soul show, we have a song written and played by John Joe called Just Keep Singing.
Don't worry about the time, don't think about the weather. Be as happy as you can and just keep singing. Let the roses grow, appreciate the sun. Be in love with someone and just keep singing. Forget about your bones, forget about your waist. Don't worry about your marbles, just keep singing. It's better than a teddy with friends and family. You've done all your jobs today, so just keep singing. The beauty of your voice filling the whole room. The cause is not forgotten, your purpose is quite clear. Join in the expression, let yourself be heard. The meaning of your words and the joy that they all bring. Don't worry about the time, don't think about the weather. Be as happy as you can and just keep singing. Let the roses grow, appreciate the sun. Be in love with someone and just keep singing.
Inspector Davis Fails by Brian Barber. Inspector Davis was sat in his favourite coffee house with his cappuccino, glancing through a whole stack of intelligence reports from his drugs team. He was heading up a special operation to take out a local drugs lord. John Lord, in fact. Great name. He really didn't yet have a grasp on how he was going to do it. But then the phone bleeped. A message. He looked at the message and was totally fazed. What? It said, "This is the nursery. Get here now, urgently." Well, there's nothing wrong with his daughter. She got over her cold. But they say urgent, so I better get out there. Grabbed the files, threw them in his briefcase, dashed out to his car, chucked them in the boot, and just before he drove off, he thought, "This is stupid, I won't be able to park." So he locked the car up and ran. And within a minute and a half, he was there. Not even out of breath, he thought. That's not bad going. Rushed in. There was the assistant of the nursery. She said, "Mr. Davis, I'm sorry, but this man just turned up and he handed me this envelope and he said it was very, very, very urgent. And so I had to text you." So he opened the letter, looked at the contents, and he went very, very pale. It was quite clear. It said, "If you want your daughter to live, follow these instructions. Go to the box by the fire escape." He rushed outside, ripped open the box, and there was a letter. So he opened this one. "There is a green button," it said. "If you press the green button and start the stopwatch, you will have 2.5 minutes to get to the next one. Next one is room 616. Why do you need to do it? Because if you don't do it, there are 2,000 gallons of water on the roof in the sprinkler tank system. That will empty straight into the nursery. And I don't think anybody will come out alive of 2,000 gallons. So, press the green button, start the stopwatch, and head for room 616. He dropped the paper and started running after he'd pressed the button. He looked at the stopwatch. He got to floor 4 and he got a minute left. Carried on running and running. 6th floor, the door was open. He burst in through, ran down the corridor, found room 616, and there was a box. Ripped open the door, looked at the stopwatch, got to wait 5 seconds, pressed the button. Another letter, so he opened that one. That was pretty good. You did it in time. Final stage to this, to disarm the entire system, is to get up onto the roof where the water tanks are. You will find another box. You have 1 minute 30 seconds, starting from the time you press the button. You pressed the button, started running, got to the box on the roof, right by the tanks, had to wait another 5 seconds. You're thinking he's pretty good, pretty fit. 5 more seconds. Now, press the button. Nothing happened. A panel slowly dropped down. Inside, a note. Ripped out the note, looked inside. What was it? You've been had. Just think, if this had been for real, we might have killed your daughter. But we didn't this time. Just wait and see. He slammed the paper down, stormed out, kicked the door as he went. I know who did this. I know it's John Lord. It's all to do with his drugs. They're frightened that I'm getting close to them. You know, this has got to be one of the worst days in my life. I thought she was going to die. So he carried on down the stairs, but little did he know it was a worse day than he thought, because as soon as he started running from his car, John Lord's team arrived, using a key cloner, opened the boot, took out the documents, scanned them all in the local shop, took them back to the car, put them in the boot, locked it all up, and headed off. John Lord now had the complete strategy that the drugs team were using to get him. Also, very easy to work out who the moles were in his organisation because of the data tied to the code names. They knew exactly what was happening. John Lord had got him. Inspector Davis had really failed.
That was Brian Barber's short story. And now, a cover of Crazy Little Thing Called Love by Ipsum client Mike Watkins.
This thing called love, well, I just can't handle it. This thing called love, I must get round to it. I ain't ready. Crazy little thing called love. This thing called love, it cries in the cradle all night. It swings with chives, it shakes all over like a jellyfish. I kinda like it. Crazy little thing called love. There goes my baby. She knows how to rock and roll. She drives me crazy. She gives me hot and cold fever. She drives me in a cold, cold sweat. I gotta be cool, relax, get hip, get on my tracks. I like see a hitchhike, take a long, long ride on my motorbike until I'm ready. Crazy little thing called love. Gotta be cool, relax, get hip, get on my tracks, take a backseat, a hitchhike, I take a long, long ride on my motorbike until I'm ready. Ready, Freddy. Crazy little thing called love. This thing called love, well, I just can't handle it. This thing called love, Must get round to it. I ain't ready. Crazy little thing called love. Crazy little thing called love. Crazy little thing called love. Crazy little thing called love.
So, from this crazy little thing called love by Michael Watkins, we go to the first of 3 mini interviews made by the Art and Soul Show Outside broadcast team last October the 10th at Sandalwood Court for World Mental Health Day.
You are listening to the Art and Soul Show on Swindon 105.5. I'm James and I'm here with Fern. Hi Fern. What do you do?
I'm an occupational therapist in the acute community unit.
And that's here at Sandalwood Court?
Yeah.
Yep. And what does that involve?
My day-to-day job or what the unit does?
Day-to-day job.
Mostly running groups and having one-to-ones with people, running activities and planning our schedule for the week.
Now, you're actually part of a pilot scheme, aren't you?
Yeah.
Doing something new here in Swindon.
Yeah, that's right.
What is that?
So the acute community unit has been set up to try and avoid hospital admission, so when people need more support than can be offered in the community but they don't necessarily need a hospital admission, they come to us in order to avoid the admission.
Oh, so you're part way between the whole care and community thing and hospitals?
Yeah.
Okay, that's cool. So it's almost like a buffer zone.
Yeah, that was a good way of describing it actually.
Yeah.
It's so people don't have to go into hospital because that can be quite disruptive to people.
Yeah, exactly. It can be extremely stressful. So, what's your favourite thing here at World Mental Health Day at Sandalwood Court?
Apart from the cakes, the World
Cakes are really important.
The World Wildlife Trust thing.
Yeah.
I've been having a nosy at what they do, and I'm quite into nature, and they've got some really good stuff going on.
Okay, that's super cool. I'll have to check that out. I really love flowers, so.
They probably have a lot of flowers there. I like the animals. They've got loads of butterfly pictures and robins and yeah.
It's amazing the connection between being out in nature and mental health.
Yeah, there's actually really good research on that, but I won't bore you with that.
No, please do.
It's the biophilia theory. Mind did a lot of work on it because they had a lot of research on having gardens and having people do horticultural therapy, but it was because I set up a group for it when I was a student. I've done all the research for
nice.
It was really interesting.
So what was it? The
biophilia theory, I think it's called.
Biophilia theory.
It's based on the fact that we grew up in nature and there's something kind of evolved in us that wants to be in the environment we evolved in, which was not just cities.
Have you come across any research into, because I've come across this idea a few times and I don't know how scientific it is, but the idea that walking barefoot in nature is really, really healthy for humans.
I've never looked at for any research, so I'd be curious to know if there is any. I've heard the same fact that people really like to walk naked barefoot, but I don't know if it's research based. Let's have a look. I quite enjoy it.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it's really good for I find it's really good for my mood. So anecdotally, it's scientifically anecdotally true. No.
I don't know, but it's worth a try as long as there's no broken glass around.
Anyway, Fern, thank you very much for talking to me. Is there any way that people can get engaged with your service if they need to?
So our service is through the Swindon intensive team that people come to us. So if people are under that team, they might be referred to us. So their referrals will normally come via the GP. If people need more support from the recovery team, they'll come to intensive team or via GP.
Okay, great. Thank you very much for talking to me and enjoy the rest of your day.
Thank you.
Rusty Goat's back again. This piece is titled Pencil Marks on Pages. She's the type of girl who listens to Bach and Beethoven, and I'm the guy who just superglued the cap from his tooth back on. I'm not saying it's a case of where you're from or social status, but we talk and walk in different circles. That's what became obvious. You see, my day is spent drinking tea and writing poetry. No real direction or purpose. For now, this may well be. But I have plans to be making changes. I'm not talking about reworking world order, nor do I have the ability to fix global conflicts and war. But you've heard me utter these words before. I'm hatching plans. I'll chip away at it one day at a time, and I'll not go down as one of history's greatest, but I'll leave a legacy that reaches out further than a positive update of a Facebook status. And for my boys, my family, I show development in my well-being. And if this alone is my legacy, the positive pieces from this they are seeing. I'll not change the world with words, but I'll make a difference to those who are my world. And for those who gain inspiration from my unpunctuated ramblings, I thank you for listening. Life can be as bleak as listening to Parachutes by Coldplay. But what are you saying? I'm listening. And my door is always open, metaphorically speaking, if it's solace and a mug of tea you are seeking. Life changes. People, places, faces. Some remain the greatest, others just life's detritus. Cut the strings and show forgiveness. I'll continue to shift words in emotions. For me, tea and poetry are energising therapy. Books full of pencil marks on pages, shifting perspective, making changes.
Thanks for that, Rusty. And now for Joke of the Month. When one door closes, another one opens, he said. That's all very well and good, I said, but until you fix it, I'm not buying this car.
And now the Pogues, a man you don't meet every day.
My name is Jock Stewart, I'm a canny gunman and a roving young fella I've been. So easy and free when you drink and when me, I'm a man you don't meet every day. I have acres of land, I have men at command, I have always a shilling to spare. So be easy and free when you drink and when me, I'm a man you don't meet every day. So come fill up your glasses of brandy and wine, whatever it costs I will pay. So be easy and free when you drink and when me, I'm a man you don't meet every day. Took out my dog and him I did shoot uptown in the county Kildare. So be easy and free when you drink and when me, I'm a man you don't meet every day. So come fill up your glasses of brandy and wine, whatever it costs I will pay. So be easy and free when you drink and when me, I'm a man you don't meet every day. So be easy and free when you drink and when me, I'm a man you don't meet every day.
That was the Pogues, and now we have a poem by Sue Hammond. The poem is titled Today is Another Day.
Today is another day. When you wake and the sun is shining, but your heart is drowning, dragging in your chest. When you feel exhausted and your soul feels haunted, 'cause there's never any rest. It's that awful flat feeling, and the pain has you reeling, and your mind is full of doubt. You want to turn over, pull up the covers, you just want to block it out. But you gotta get going, you gotta get moving and get on with the day. You gotta keep on living, have to keep surviving, 'cause today's just another day. That was a track by our very own James Osborne called Memory Dump. And now Ipsum client Mark Evans with a cover of George Ezra, Hold My Girl.
I've been waiting for you to come around and tell me the truth, but everything that you're going through, my girl, you've got nothing to lose. Cold nights and the Sunday morning, on your way and out of the grave. I've got time, I've got love, got confidence, you rise above. Give me a minute to hold my girl. Give me a minute to hold my girl. Crowded town or silent bed, pick a place to rest your head. Give me a minute to hold my girl. Give me a minute to hold my girl. I've been dreaming about us, working hard and saving it up. We'll go and see the man on the moon. My girl, we've got nothing to lose. Cold nights and the Sunday morning, on your way out of the grave. I've got time, I've got love, got confidence, you rise above. Give me a minute to hold my girl. Give me a minute to hold my girl. Crowded town or silent bed, pick a place to rest your head. Give me a minute to hold my girl. Give me a minute to hold my girl. My girl, my girl. It takes one hot second to turn it round. It takes one hot second to turn it round. I've got time, I've got love, got confidence, you rise above. Give me a minute to hold my girl. Give me a minute to hold my girl. Crowded town or silent bed, pick a place to rest your head at. Give me a minute to hold my girl. Give me a minute to hold my girl. I've got time, I've got love, got confidence, you rise above. Give me a minute to hold my girl. Give me a minute to hold my girl. Crowded town or silent bed, pick a place to rest your head at. Give me a minute to hold my girl. Give me a minute to hold my girl.
From Hold My Girl, covered by Mark Evans, to Ipsum's Mature Mondays cover of Black Magic Woman.
Got a black magic woman. I got a black magic woman. Yeah, I got a black magic woman. Got me so blind I can't see. But she's a black magic woman, and she's trying to make a devil out of me. Don't turn your back on me, baby. Don't turn your back on me, baby. Yeah, don't turn your back on me, baby. You're messing around with your tree. Don't turn your back on me, baby, 'cause you might just break up my magic stick. You got a spell on me, baby. You got a spell on me, baby. Yeah, you got a spell on me, baby. You're turning my heart into stone. I need you so bad, magic woman, I can't leave you alone. Got a black magic woman, I got a black magic woman. Yeah, I got a black magic woman, got me so blind I can't see. But she's a black magic woman, and she's trying to make a devil out of me. Don't turn your back on me, baby. Don't turn your back on me, baby. Yeah, don't turn your back on me, baby. You're messing around with the truth. Don't turn your back on me, baby, 'cause you might just break up my magic stick. You got a spell on me, baby. You got a spell on me, baby. Yeah, you got a spell on me, baby. You're turning my heart into stone. I need you so bad, magic woman, I can't leave you alone.
From Ipsum's Mature Mondays cover of Black Magic Woman to Rod Stewart, Maggie May.
Wake up, Maggie, I think I got something to say to you. It's late September and I really should be back at school. I know I keep you amused, but I feel I'm being used. Oh, Maggie, I couldn't have tried anymore. You led me away from home just to save you from being alone. You stole my heart, and that's what really hurts. The morning sun, when it's in your face, really shows your age. But that don't worry me none. In my eyes, you're everything. I laughed at all of your jokes. My love, you didn't need to coax. Oh, Maggie, I couldn't have tried anymore. You led me away from home just to save you from being alone. You stole my soul, and that's a pain I can do without. All I needed was a friend to lend a guiding hand. But you turned into a lover and mother. What a lover, you wore me out. All you did was wreck my bed, and in the morning kick me in the head. Oh, Maggie, I couldn't have tried anymore. You led me away from home, 'cause you didn't want to be alone. You stole my heart, I couldn't leave you if I tried. or steal my daddy's cue and make a living out of playing pool, or find myself a rock and roll band that needs a helping hand. Oh, Maggie, I wished I'd never seen your face. You made a first-class fool out of me, but I'm as blind as a fool can be. You stole my heart, but I love you anyway.
So that was Rod Stewart with his classic Maggie May. Next up, it is Brian and Ozzy.
And now it's time for Brian Barber's Adventures in Faraway Lands. How's it going, Brian?
Brilliant, but we're not sort of travelling that much this time.
Oh, we're not going anywhere?
Well, we will be. We're going to Rwanda and other places, but really we're talking about towers, radio and microwave towers.
Okay, microwave towers. Now, they're the ones that you're not allowed to put forks in, right?
Not that kind of microwave. You just don't stand in front of it, otherwise you'd cook.
Oh, right, okay, cool. So,
Yeah.
like...
You turn them off before you go up.
Yeah, so, like, for broadcasting and stuff like that?
Yeah, it's data.
So, you've been, like, climbing these towers or something?
Yes, I used to do that as a part of my job, was to go up, readjust the antennas and take photographs in which way the antennas were pointing, so we know what they're looking at and what's going to get in the way.
Okay, so do you just, like, rock up, climb a tower, you know?
No.
Yeah.
You have to have a license.
Okay.
And that means you have to go on a training course on how to climb a tower safely.
Okay, so it's a specific, like, tower climbing license.
Yeah, it's for climbing towers, and there's also a roof access one where you're wandering around roofs. But what we were doing was climbing towers, so you had to wear the full kit and a lanyard, which you clip onto the tower. And you have to have a special lanyard, because if you have just an ordinary one and you fall off, you break your neck because there's no give.
Oh, well, that's not ideal.
No. So you have a lanyard that's got a concertina effect, and when you fall, you just fall, and it slows you down.
Ah, right, okay. So, how do you get one of these licenses then?
You've got to go on a course.
Yeah.
And I went on a course, and did I have trouble?
Yeah.
You see, I'd really got myself into really bad times, because I've been on oil rigs a long time, and the oil rigs, the boots I used to wear, got covered in oil and other chemicals, and I hadn't noticed. And so when it came to climb the tower, which was 6 months later, I started climbing up the tower, and the poor guy below me got the soles of my boots because they just disintegrated and fell apart.
So, like, just your sole just fell off your foot, basically?
That's right, my sole fell off, yes.
Your sole just, like, showered down onto someone?
Yep. It did.
So, you were climbing the towers, but what was the specific job you were doing?
Well, we were going to the top of the towers to adjust antennas or put in new antennas.
Right.
And that's basically what it was, going up safely.
Yeah. And, well, you say safely. something happened to your boss, didn't it?
Oh, yeah. Well, no, it wasn't that bad. It was just the way the rules worked.
Yeah.
Because we worked as a team. Whoever went out on site to go and climb towers, always the youngest climbed the towers.
Yeah.
Always.
Okay.
So the old guy would be left at the bottom monitoring. Mm-hmm. My boss was younger than me, and when it came to climbing the tower and taking the photographs, he expected me to go up, and I said, "No, you're a youngster compared to me. Go up." And so the boss had to climb the tower, and I stayed at the bottom.
Oh, well, that was, seems to make sense.
Well, of course, I was old.
Younger people were more agile. It makes sense.
Yeah.
So, you told me sort of earlier that you had a sleep or something.
Yeah,
on
that's
the
the
towers.
problem about my age, you see, because I'm old. I was only in my 50s, 60s at the time. Climbing a 50-metre tower takes it out of you.
Yeah.
And so when I got to the top, I was too tired to work. And so I just clipped the harness on and just hung there and went to sleep. And had a nice little kip.
What, like a hammock, or just literally
No, just the
hanging
harness.
by a rope?
Just using the harness to hang on, And then I got a radio message from down below after I'd been there about 15 minutes. Said, "Are you going to work or not?" So they were a bit peeved that I hadn't started work.
Okay, so what were the hazards when you were climbing towers other than getting really tired and falling asleep at the top?
Things you don't think of.
Yeah.
Lightning. You don't want to be climbing a tower when there's a lightning storm around.
That seems logical to me.
Well, yeah, but you've got to wait. If one's coming and you don't know, it's very difficult to get back down.
Yeah, you don't want like a lightning storm to show up as a shock, do you?
No, birds, kites were the worst ones. The kites used to have nests on the top of the tower,
right.
And if you went up there and there's eggs in it, they used to dive bomb you.
Oh, of course they did, yeah.
And of course, disease from their droppings didn't help.
So you had quite a funny experience, though, in Rwanda.
Yes, Rwanda. We were working in a place called Changugu, which is a good name, and it's by a lake, beautiful. And there was a 35-metre tower, roughly. Alex, one of our team, youngster, up the tower. He's like a little monkey, zoomed up to the top of the tower. And all the boys at the bottom, because they would come and watch, they were all cheering him on because he was messing about at the top of the tower, sort of pretending to fall off and stuff. And so when it came to the end of the job, he decided to abseil down. And he did. He abseiled down beautifully. Yeah. And that's when you kick away and you drop down on the rope and kick away and drop down.
Like you see in movies. And
that's right. Well, he did that. Big mistake.
Okay.
Because at the bottom there's a bar just before you get to the bottom with all the lights on. And he decided to abseil onto the bar.
What kind of bar?
Just a steel bar.
Oh, right.
Not a drinking one.
A drinking bar, yeah.
So he landed on this steel bar and the copper wire went straight into his leg.
Oh.
And he grabbed hold of the tower and completed the circuit and got a massive electric shock.
Oh, no.
Fell off, landed in a heap on the floor. Cyprian, who was the foreman, rushed over, started cardiac pumping him.
Yeah.
And he threw him off, lit a cigarette, staggered over to this log pile, sat down, and it all collapsed. A bad day for Alex.
Oh, that is not a good day.
No.
Well, thank you very much for coming in today, Brian, and sharing with us some of your adventures in faraway lands and tall places. Have an excellent day.
Thank you very much.
Now on the Art and Soul Show, here at Ipsum, we have a track by Swindon artist Pat Luschk called Rack and Ruin, recorded here at Basement 13.
There was a time we put our faith in God above. There was a time we believed in a summer of love. There ain't no use in looking back. All those days are gone. These are the days of breaking. There was a time when our face and looking back. Oh, those days are gone. These are the days of wreck and ruin. These are the days of wreck and ruin. These are the days of wreck and
I am a member of the radio group here at Ipsum, and I would like to share a song called Drive by Incubus. When I play this track, it has a positive effect on my well-being.
Sometimes I feel the fear of uncertainty stinging clear, and I can't help but ask myself how much I let the fear take the wheel and steer. It's driven me before, and it seems to have a vague haunting mass of guilt. But lately I'm beginning to find that I should be the one behind the wheel. Whatever tomorrow brings, I'll be there with open arms and open eyes, yeah. Whatever tomorrow brings, I'll be there. I'll be there. So if I decide to waver my chance to be one of the hive, will I choose water over wine and hold my own and drive? It's driven me before, and it seems to be the way that everyone else gets around. Lately I'm beginning to find that when I drive myself, my life is found. Whatever tomorrow brings, I'll be there with open arms and open eyes, yeah. Whatever tomorrow brings, I'll be there. I'll be
And that brings us to the end of the Art and Soul Show this month. Thank you very much for listening. Join us again next month.